Okay, guys, we'll just continue from where we left out yesterday. Yesterday we were seeing about the return. So how to use the return keyword is what we were looking into. So today we will start with the topic like, okay, keyword, more on the keyword return. So I already told you what is return. So when you want to pass some values from the function to the main program, then I will be making use of this return keyword. Right. So one of the speciality of the return keyword is that here return keyword, unlike other programming languages, can return more than one value. So one really very special thing about the return keyword is in all other programming languages. So when you take your C or your C++ or your programming language like Java or your C hash. So in all these languages, what happens is that a function, a function can return only one value at a time. So can return only one value at a time. But in Python, we have an advantage. In Python, the speciality is a function can return more than one value. In Python, functions has a special feature, that is it can return more than one function, more than one value. So now what do you mean by this? What do I mean by this? Okay, let us take this program. Okay, where I'm going to create a function, say def arithmetic operation. This is the name of my function. Okay, so this is the name of my function. Inside this function, what is that I'm doing? Okay, let us have some variables. So a comma b. Two parameters are given for this function. So here I'm going to say sum is equal to a plus b. Okay, sub is equal to a minus b. Then I'm giving mul is equal to a into b. Then I'm having another value where I'm saying div is equal to a divided by. So I'm doing so many operations. So I'm actually doing four different kinds of operation within this particular program. Now see what I'm doing. I am saying return, okay, sum, comma, sub, comma, mul, comma, div. So I am returning multiple values back to the main function. So not just one single value, I am returning four different values to my main function. So let us start writing our main function. So in the main function, I'm going to say x is equal to int of input of. So get the first x value. Then I'm going to get the value of y. I'm going to say y is equal to int of input of. Then I'm going to call this function. So I'm going to call this function by passing the value of x and y. X comma y. So what is going to happen? Whatever is the value of x is going to be given to the a variable, and whatever is the value of y is going to be given to the b variable. So this is how it is going to happen. So the values are going to be passed to these variables, and then it is going to perform all these operations. And then these some values are going to be returned by my function. So I need something to capture all this returned value. So this function is going to return all these things. How to capture it? How many values are being returned? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 values I'm going to get. So see what I'm going to say. I am saying yes, comma, su, comma, m, comma, d is equal to. So what is going to happen? The first value this function is going to return is going to go to the first variable. The second value it returns is going to go to the second variable. The third value to the third variable, and the fourth value to the fourth variable. So this is how the values are going to go and get stored inside that variable. So after this, in the main program, I'm going to print the values. So I'm going to say print addition or print sum of two numbers, some value is equal to, then comma yes. Inside yes only, the number has been stored. So I'm writing it as yes. Then the next print statement. So here I'm going to say subtraction is equal to, then comma yes you. Yes you. That is the variable I'm going to use. Then print multiplication equals to m, and same way for the division. So I'm going to say print division is equal to comma d. So that's it. So I am taking all the variables and I'm going to print the values. Now let us run this program. Okay, so before running the program, of course, you need to give the values. So in our standard input, provide the values first. Okay, there you go. I have to give a value for a, x, and I have to give a value for y. So let us say x is 50, y is say 15. Now run this. Now simply run this. See what is happening. Getting all the values. So sum is getting 65. Yes. Subtraction is happening. Multiplication is happening. Division is also happening. So if you want, you can do the flow division. If you don't want any reminders, you don't want any decimal values, then do the flow division. See, you will get only the quotient value. Only the whole number part is given to you. So a function can return more than one value at the same time. This is one of the high special items which comes along with my Python. So how to prove this? What is the example for this? Is this program. Okay, now how this is done? So now I am saying yes, it is giving you more than one value. How it is achieved? It is achieved in one single form. How? Let us run it and show you. Okay, I'm going to take a single variable, say r. So I am giving all these values inside a single variable I'm going to store. Then see what I'm going to say. I am going to say print r. Sorry, I'm saying print r. Then I am also saying print type of r. What is the data type? What is the data type of r? Okay, now let me take all these things out. I am taking all these things out. Now, all the values. This function is going to return 4 values. I am storing all the 4 values inside this one single variable r. Then I am printing r and I am printing the type of r. Run this. See what is coming. All the 4 values are coming now also. Okay, but it is present inside of a parenthesis. And what is the data type it says? It says that it is a tuple. So remember this very carefully. Whenever you are returning, whenever your function is going to return more than one value, then it is going to be treated as a tuple by default. So always your interpreter is going to consider, you can put all these values inside one single variable also as a tuple. Right, like a list. How you have a list? List is having multiple values inside one single variable. Like that, you have the concept of tuples. We have already seen tuples data type. I hope you remember. So what is the advantage here? I can iterate to the tuples. I can use a for loop in my tuple. So what I'm going to say, for x in r. We're just going to say print result is equal to, then comma x, comma x. Run the program. Run the program now. See all the values. We're getting it. So this is one way of doing it. This is one way of me getting the printing the results. So print the results. Sorry, here the comment is a Yes. So print the result in this way. Yes, it can be done. Okay, what is the other way I have to print the result? I can do the concept of for printing the result, I can use the concept which is called as unpacking. Which is called as unpacking. So how many values are there inside the tuple? Four values. So create four variables. Create four variables. Say A, B, C. Four variables. Four values. So four variables. You're going to say equals to R. So what is going to happen when you give like this? This concept is what we call as unpacking. So the first value of the R, that is the first index value, the first index value is going to go to the first variable. The second index value is going to go to the second variable, the third to the third, and the fourth to the fourth. So like this, automatically the unpacking will happen. So once it is unpacked, you can print the result. We can print the result. So what I'm going to say? I'm going to say all these things. So just simply going to say A, B, C, and so run the program again. If you do like this also, you are getting the results. Okay, if you do like this also, you're able to get the result. So every work is possible. So you can do how you want to do it. It's entirely your choice. It's entirely your choice. Otherwise, you can just print the tuple also. Otherwise, you can just print the tuple value. If you print the tuple value, you'll be getting all the values in this form. So whichever way you want, you can get the results. So this is how you can say that a function can return more than one value. So just remember, when a function is going to return more than one value, it is always going to return it in form of a tuple. Whether it is two values, whether it is three values, it is 10 values, it doesn't matter. When it is more than one, then automatically it is forming a tuple for us. So remember here, when a function returns more than one value, it will return in form of a. This is very important concept here. Right. Okay. You can add this example also for us. Right. I'll just add this example also. Right. So what is the next? What is the next thing I should be knowing is what are the different ways of writing a function? So here I'm going to have four types of arguments are there. A function, a function can take four different types of argument. So what are those? What are those? First one, first one, call it as required argument. We call this as required argument. Or another name we say for this is positional arguments. Positional arguments. This is the first type. Then the second type what we have. Second type what we have is something called as a default argument. We have something called as default argument. The third type, the third type is keyword argument. Keyword arguments. And the fourth type, we call this as a variable length argument. Variable length arguments. So these are the four ways in which we can have the arguments or we can pass a value. Arguments are not but nothing but values. See, there is you should know before doing this, you should know the difference between parameters and arguments. So what is a parameter? What is an argument? Please know this difference very clearly. Parameter, parameter, parameters are nothing but variables. variables that are used in a function definition. In a function definition. So whatever variables we are giving in a function definition is what we call as parameters. Say for example, this a and b. This a and b is what we call as parameters. Okay, then what is an argument? So arguments are nothing but the values that we pass for the parameters. Values that are passed for the parameters during the function calling. So please remember the difference here very carefully. So difference between an parameter and an argument. So remember parameter. What is the parameter? Parameter are nothing but the variables, that we use or that we create during the function definition. And arguments. Arguments are nothing but the values that we pass for the variables during function call. For example, x and y. X and y is nothing but my arguments, because the value of x is given to a, the value of y is given to my b variable. So that is why we call this as arguments. You know very well, either I can give like this or I can directly give values also. I'm going to say 10 and 3. So what is going to happen? The 10 value is going to a and the 3 number value is going to go to my b. So you can either pass variables or you can pass directly the values. Both are accepted. Both are accepted. This is what we call as an argument. So that is the difference between a parameter and an argument. So here we are going to see what are the 4 types of arguments we have for a function. So these are the 4 types of argument we are having: required arguments, default argument, keyword argument, and a variable length. So what is a required argument? Let us start with a required argument. Right. Okay. Let us write a program here. Let us create a program here. I am saying def information. Information is the name of my function. Information is the name of my function. So here, what is that I'm going to say? I'm going to have a name of the student. I'm going to have the department, which department he or she is going to belong to. Okay, then let us say what else? Yeah, we can say the mark, the percentage, and then I'm going to have the college name. So let us say C name. Right. So these are all the informations that I'm going to pass as a parameter. So how many parameters are there? 4 parameters are having. So 4 parameters it is going to be having. Right. So inside that, see what I'm doing. It's a simple function. I'm saying hi, my name is, then have the name, name, whatever is the name of the person, then I am studying in, comma, TPT. Okay, I am studying in, I forgot to add the comma, quotations. Okay, give the department name, another comma, then okay, then come out, go for the next one. French, right? Semester, percentage is, then declare the variable, right? Another print statement. So it is going to say my college is Okay, comma CNAME. Over. My function is over. I have created the function. So my function is pretty simple. My function is a pretty simple function. So what is it going to do? I'm going to pass some values and it is going to give the information. I'm just going to print the information. Okay, now come to my main function. Come to the main part of the program. Here, what are the things we are going? Just say print student informations are as follows. Just giving a heading. Just giving a heading. Then I'm going to call this function. And then I'm going to call this function. So while calling the function, how many values I have to pass? I have to pass 4 values. So there you go. First, I'm passing the name, comma. Second thing, I have to pass the department. There you go. I'm giving the department. Third, I have to pass the percentage. I'm giving the percentage. Then fourth, I have to give the name of my college. So let us say I'm giving the name. Now, when I run this program, now when I execute the program, see I'm getting all the information. So it says my name is so and so. I am studying in. This is the department. Okay, let us remove all the extra spaces. Right, studying in CSE department. My semester percentage is so and so, and my college is. So everything I have done perfectly. So the program is working perfectly for me. Now, same thing. You know the thing. I can call I can call a function n number of times. This is the advantage of my function. Create the function once. You can call the function n number of times. This time I'm going to pass some different information. Some other students' data I'm going to pass. So there you go. I am saying the name, comma. I am saying the department, comma. I am saying the mark, comma. Then I am giving the college name. So now again you print it. See, this time you are getting a different set of data. So you want, you can just give a gap also in between. So you can create a function once and you can call the function in number of times. You can keep on calling the function any number of times. Now, what is the first type we are seeing? I am telling you about the required or the positional argument. So what do you mean by this is number of parameters. Number of parameters and the values passed to the parameters must always must always always match, otherwise your program is going to throw you an error. This is why we call this as required. This is why we call this as required. The word required we use is because the number of parameters and the values you are giving should exactly match. Here I am having 4 parameters, then I have to compulsorily pass 4 values. Okay, let us give here one more thing. Call the function again. Okay, this time right, done. Then I'm giving the other value. So let us say something, comma, and then the name of my college. So I'm just giving, that's it. Okay, then of course have another print statement to separate the data. So when I'm giving exactly correct number of parameters, no error. My program works fine. First information, second information, third information. Now see here. I am not giving the college name. I am not giving the college name. There is actually 4 parameters I need to give, but I am giving only 3. Now run this. See what happens. So see here, I am getting an error. I am getting an error. See what is the error says. What type of error it is? It is called as a type error. So when you don't do this, okay, when this is missing, what is the error you will get? you will get something called as a type error. And what is the type error? It says this function, that is the name of my function, is missing one required positional argument. One required argument is missing. It is compulsory that I have to pass the value, but I am not passing the value. And see for which one it is saying. For which one it is saying? It is saying for CNAME. So what happens? The first value to the first variable, second value to the second variable, third value to the third variable. Then for the fourth variable, I don't have any value. I don't have any value. That is why it is saying there is no value given for CNAME. So in case if you are not giving, so in case if you are not giving, then the interpreter will generate an error which is called as a type error. So what is the type error? Type error is going to say that you are missing something like this. Right. So this is very, very important. This is what your required or positional argument means. Okay. So now you know why we call this as required. Now the other thing is, why are we calling this as a positional? Why is that word also used here? Okay. Let us see that. Guys, just 1 minute. I'm sorry. Yep. Okay, guys. So now we'll see you why it is called as a positional. Why it is called as a positional argument. Now, see here what I'm going to do is, when I'm going to pass a value, okay, taking this, I am passing it like this. So, see here what is going to happen. So, positional in the sense like everything has to be in the same order. So, the first value to the first variable, the second value to the second variable, third value to the third variable, and fourth value to the fourth variable. But here, when I am printing it, see how it is going to print now. It is not an error. It cannot detect any errors because all the four values are given. I have given all the four parameter values, so it will not generate any error for me. But because of the position changing, because I'm not giving in the same order, see how is it printed? It says, hi, my name is Triple E and I am studying in 85.2 department. So my semester mark is quiz. So this is the problem that you will be getting. This is the reason why we call this as a positional argument also. The order in which you are providing the variables and the order in which the names are there, it should exactly match. So the order in which the values are given matters, because like that only it is going to go and get saved up. So if you are changing the order, this is the problem you will be getting. So these are the important things that you should be knowing with regards to the required or positional arguments. So let me add this example. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so now when you run the program, first here this example is to tell you about the positional importance, position of values, and this function call is going to tell you the required parameter, because I'm going to take out one value. This is going to tell you about the required parameter. So for both the things I have added in this example. So when you run this, first one is a perfect one, no problem anywhere. The second one, the order is changed, so it is going to be printed in a different manner. The third one, instead of 4, I am passing only 3 parameters, so it is going to generate an error. Remember, Python is an interpreted language. So until it encounters an error, all the rest of the statements will actually get executed. The line which is generating an error, it is going to stop the program at that line only. So this is going to work for us. Right. So this is a simple example to explain you the concept of required arguments. Okay, now the next one. Now, the next one, what I'm having is something called as a default argument. So, what do you mean by default argument? That is, when we are not giving any values for a parameter, when we are not going to give a value for a parameter, what is a parameter? Nothing but a variable. Nothing but a variable. It is going to generate error. It is going to generate error. This we already saw. The last example was telling you this only. It is going to generate an error. So, how to avoid the error? How to avoid this error? I am still not going to give values, but I don't want an error. How to avoid the error? Is with the help of my default arguments. With the help of my default arguments, I can avoid this error. How? You're going to you are going to provide a value for the variable, going to provide a value for the variable for the variable at the time of definition itself, at the time of definition itself. That is, provide a value in the sense, what do you mean by this is initialize. So provide a value means what? Initialize. So you know one concept, variable means what? The value of a variable can keep on changing. So I can say a is equal to 10. The next line I can also say a is equal to 20. Both are going to be valid for me. That is the same concept I'm going to be applying here. So when I say a is equal to 10, what is that I'm doing? I'm creating a variable called a and I am initializing the value of a. So same thing, when I am going to create a function, I am going to initialize the parameter. Say for example, def my country. This okay, this is the name of my function. So here I'm saying C, okay, let us say my name, okay, and my country, okay, and my country. So these are the two parameters of this function. So when I'm saying print, I'm saying hi, I am, comma, name, comma, and I am from, then give the name of my country. I am from this country. That is the message I'm going to be printing. So let us run this program. So come to the main program and say, okay, executing. Just I'm providing a simple message to say this is the main program, executing the program, executing the function. So like this, I'm adding a message. Then I'm going to call my function. I'm saying my country. So this time I am giving the name and then comma, I am giving the name of my country. This is the normal thing what you just saw, the required argument concept. So when I print it, yes, it is going to work perfectly for me. But now I want the program to work. Okay, I want the program to work when I am going to give the value like this also. only one single value, but still I want the program to work. So what did I say the default value is? The default value means I am going to provide an initial value. So here I'm going to say country is equal to India. Whatever you want to give, that's your choice. But I like my country, so I'm giving the name of my country here. So I am saying name, comma, country is another variable for which I am initializing the value as India. So always remember, when you are going to call this function, if you are providing a value, if you are providing a value for the second parameter, then whatever value you are giving here is going to replace this value. It's going to replace this value. And in case if you are not providing any value, then the default value will be taking place. See here, when I run this, there is no error. Even though I am giving only one parameter, error is not generated. See what happens. It says I am from India. So when you're not giving the second parameter, the default value will take place. If you're giving the value, then whatever value you are giving will get assigned to that particular function. So say here, you can call it n number of times. So just say here, I'm just going to say Ray and I'm from UK. So now when I run this, it is going to print. Since I have given, it is going to print that itself. Then I'm saying, yeah, I'm not giving anything. So see what happens. If you're giving the value, whatever value you give will take place. If you're not giving the value, then by default, India is going to be given here. So that is how your default argument is going to be working for me. Okay, this is how I will be working on the default. Right. So now there is one very important point you have to be knowing here when you are working with the default argument. What is that is always your required arguments, that is for the parameters for which you have to compulsorily pass the values. If you are having any parameters like this, you should write all those parameters before your required argument. Say for example, after this I'm having one more. I am saying age. Now when I run this program, see what happens. It is throwing me an error. But what is the error? It is not even going to this line. It is not even going to this line. But see what is the error? It says non-default argument follows a default argument. Non-default means what? This is a non-default argument which is following a default argument. So you cannot write it like this. So always remember, if you are having any positional arguments, compulsory parameters are there means you have to give all those things before giving your default values. So default value should be at the last, or else if you are having any other parameter, for that also you are supposed to give a default value. If I give like this, I am saying 25, then when I run the program it will accept. It is going